You're listening to Comic Reflections, episode 51. I'm Nicholas Prom.
I'm Jeff Barnard, dressed in mufti today.
Mufti? Is that a color? What is mufti? I've heard the word.
Mufti is a word from India meaning plain clothes.
Oh,
I'm not wearing any superhero themed clothing.
okay. Me either. But that's okay. But they could pretend we could be Captain Marvel and Captain Marvel Jr. or Uncle Marvel.
Well, yeah, Uncle Marvel. That'd be more of my style and abilities.
Oh, there's the Shazam Bago acting up again, Jeff.
Yeah. Actually, bursitis.
Oh man,
Don't grow old. There's nothing in it for you.
what is bursitis?
I'm not sure. It's something with the bones.
It sounds like a bread.
No.
It's like prosciutto.
Oh.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Nah, that's unpleasant.
Okay.
Moving on from unpleasantness to the pleasant world of comics.
Yes. All right. So we've got a couple more issues of The Brave and the Bold to open the show with. The first one is Brave and the Bold number 143. It's written by Bob Haney and Kerry Burkett with terrific art by Jim Aparo. And this story is called Cast the First Stone. It's Batman and the Creeper.
Oh, I'm not a huge Creeper fan. I'm sorry. It's just,
That's a great sentence to say.
I don't like Creepers, period. And I'm like, oh, he is. What's wrong with him? He's a little bit too out there, and you're not sure what he is. And the writers didn't know what he was. He's got about 3 origin stories. Is he a demon or is something? And no one knows.
He's another weird thing out of the mind of Steve Ditko. And the way he's a newspaper reporter or a TV reporter who turns a dial on his watch and then he becomes the Creeper. And the Creeper's abilities are very vague, and he talks as if he is like a god from Olympus, but he's just like this crazy, agile guy.
Yeah. Actually, I do like, ha, step up to your doom, fools.
Yeah.
I'll say that to my...
I like the dialogue that the Creeper has. He's just out there.
Yeah, it's okay. He's not awful, and he's like, but he could... There's something there that could be really great, but they miss it. And that's what really hurts.
Yeah.
It's not when a bad movie's bad, but when a movie that could be good doesn't make it, that's when you have the biggest disappointment.
Yeah. And he is one of those characters like others. He's like other Steve Ditko characters. That's like he's interesting but not great. He's kind of like he's got elements of like Mr. A or The Question or just some of those kinds of things. It's part of Steve Ditko's weird Ayn Rand thing, and that's I think the Creeper displays those elements the least, but that's always there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What is it, Erdogan or the demon who talks?
Oh, Etrigan.
Etrigan?
Yeah.
Okay. I will never remember all these names. I don't remember names of real people, much less. I kind of like I always love it. It's in that Germanic script, and he always talks in poet. It always rhymes. And it's
Not always, actually. I've gone back and read some like from the Kirby run. So this is the original demon.
But those aren't the real ones.
What?
No.
He does speak in rhyme, especially when Jason Blood becomes the demon.
Mm-hmm.
There's like that whole speech he gives, and I wish I knew it. I don't know as well as the Green Lantern know. Sorry, but he speaks in rhyme often, but not always. So I think later writers have played up the speaking and rhyming verse more.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get back to this Batman and Creeper story.
No. All right. There's this. Well, Walter Cronkite is a drug dealer.
Yeah.
And it's obviously Walter. I mean, his name is Montgomery Walcott.
But he looks like Cronkite. He's supposed to be Cronkite.
Yeah. There's a Walcott family who were writers too, so it's not. It's
maybe another illusion there. But also, they call this guy America's most trusted newsman or something. It's like,
and he's got a mustache. I mean,
this guy looks like Cronkite. Right. This is supposed to be Cronkite.
Right.
So.
I'm surprised Cronkite didn't sue.
Because they didn't use his name. It's not libel.
Yeah. No,
And they
Means
wanted it to
something.
be like, what if Walter Cronkite turned out to be a drug-dealing
Yeah.
scumbag? Like,
Um,
not like, hey, Walter Cronkite's a dirtbag, let's write about that.
yeah. I thought the Creeper was a bad guy before I read this. And it's just, oh, how does he look? He looks like
His,
another Joker, but he's a
well,
good
yeah,
guy in here, but he
his
really likes beating up people though.
his
So
image and his approach to crime fighting, it's easy to mistake him for a supervillain. Um,
yeah, well drawn.
yeah,
Let's
I love
see.
Jim Aparo's art. It's just really great.
Yeah, let's see. Noted on page 16, there's something nice. Um, I must be wrong. Okay,
Well, okay,
okay, but
but
oh yeah, yeah. There's a sliding effect by the headlights of the car, and it's really well done.
yeah, and
It's
then the
just
headlights shine on Batman and the Creeper. Yeah, that
mhm.
is a really cool panel. I like that. Um,
Mainly it's just the absence of light, ironically. But there's nothing there. But they just draw the blackness and they draw the outlines of the light, and they put Creeper and Batman in it, and it's really works well.
yeah,
I'm impressed.
yeah. So about this story, I mean, a Batman and them exposing Cronkite as a drug dealer. How does this play out?
Oh, the thing is, Montgomery Wildcat slash Cronkite, the the head guy doesn't go around dealing drugs, and he sends people
Yeah,
like the Kingpin. The
yeah,
Kingpin doesn't collect money from people; he sends people out there,
yeah,
and that's what. Yeah, it was stupid. And if he hadn't done that, though, Batman could have never caught him. That's what makes these evil masterminds of crime hard to catch because they don't do anything illegal that can be seen. It's all
right.
done through people.
Yeah, underlings. So what we learn from the story is Cronkite is no kingpin.
Right. Yeah.
So I know the long and the short of it is Batman and Creeper beat up the bad guys and they win. But
Yeah. Cool vertigo effect here.
yeah, what page is that?
Oh, page 12.
Yeah,
And that's pretty neat. Really big guy almost beats up Batman. That's kind of cool.
yeah,
And I like it when the heroes are in trouble.
yeah. It's good. I think some of the better superhero comics they're more interesting when a hero is you know can be harmed. It's what one of the things that makes Batman or Daredevil more exciting because they're not bulletproof.
Hmm.
And somebody who's tough can maybe get the drop on them and capture them, and they have to get out of a trap and outwit them. So there's
Hmm.
there's more there to be dealt with.
Yeah.
So
But that's the way it is with that one. Let's
yeah.
go to the next part of the thing
Oh
with the
yes,
human target.
the backup story. Yes, we've got the Human Target. It's the Cat and the Canary contract, written by Len Wein and art by Dick Giordano. These are the guys that created the Human Target, and this is a great story of Christopher Chance.
Yeah,
I
he has a
enjoyed this.
Batman-like beginning. The origin story is very Batman-ish.
Yeah, his father owed money to a bookie, and they had him rubbed out. And then Christopher Chance swore that he was gonna do everything. He wasn't gonna let that happen, kind
Yeah.
of thing happen again. And so he's a master of disguise for hire.
Yeah. A little montage. Right?
Yeah,
Not sure you can use the word montage in comic book.
flashback montage.
Yeah. A few sequences showing him exercising and learning to fight.
Yeah.
And
So in this story he has to protect the guy that put the hit on his father.
yeah, we call that irony.
Yes.
And he doesn't like it one bit.
No. Because he agreed to it before he knew who the client was. This is a fat government contract. Because this
Mm.
guy's going to testify for like the grand jury or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not a huge fan of Human Target. It's kind of very passive. I'm going to walk and people will shoot at me.
It's not
that's
one
his
of them.
modus operandi.
Yeah.
Um, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's a different take, and I don't know. It's not your average superhero or
Yeah.
comic book hero.
It's not one of my favorites, but I feel that it's very noteworthy. And the concept I like a lot. And when I read these Human Target stories, I notice just how cinematic how it plays out. It's like It doesn't surprise me at all that this was made into a television series 2 times
Hmm.
because it's a perfect idea for television. I mean, anybody reading this like this would make a great TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Especially it would have been cool if it had been done in the 70s. Like around the same time as like Mannix or
Mm-hmm.
Kojak. It fit right in with that kind of thing.
Yeah. The human target in a deadly game of cat and mouse. They're always in a deadly game of
I
cat and
know, but
mouse.
that's the great
I want to
bumper
be
for
in a
next.
deadly game of cat and mouse for real.
No, you don't. Think about it.
Oh,
Think about if you were in a deadly game of cat and mouse, like some villain or some criminal. How would you really outwit that? Like Columbo, right?
yeah.
Or Rockford. Would you be more Who do you identify with more, Columbo or Rockford?
Oh, Rockford on a bad day.
So Beretta.
No, 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 no. I'm talking about. Oh,
I'm sorry.
that's. Oh, nothing wrong with Beretta. He's a fine actor, although he killed somebody
Well,
in real life.
things
So he
happen.
did play a deadly game of cat and mouse with somebody.
Yeah. It's so funny. Mike. What was the name of Beretta's bird?
Oh, yeah, I forgot. So.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I think it was Sam or something.
Hmm.
It's not right. Anyway, my grandfather had a cockatiel
Hmm.
as well, and he named it. It was Fred,
Yeah.
and he named his cockatiel after Beretta's bird.
Hmm.
So, and
Okay.
one day Fred laid an egg, so we found out Fred was.
Frederica.
Yeah.
Fredina or something like
Yeah.
that. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, interesting. You rarely see a Beretta pistol, and there's a depiction of Beretta pistol in the comic book, and I was impressed
A
with
lot
that.
of comic book guns are like, this looks like a vague, gun, and
Yeah.
but it's nice when you see them like, hey, that's like the real deal.
Hmm.
You see a lot more of that accuracy in like Sergeant Rock or the Haunted Tank, except for the ghost part. But
Yeah, the Haunted Tanks always drew these. This is a Panzer Kampfwagen 6B, and then they blow it up.
yeah,
And that's the entire thing they do. A lot of yes, Sergeant Rock sometimes it's just a generic tank, which is just odd because there's nothing as cinematic as a real German tank,
yeah,
and which is one of the cool things about Saving Private Ryan. They really made a
yeah,
Tiger tank mock up, and they did that in Kelly's Heroes too, and this looked really good,
yeah,
and added a lot to it. And then instead of that's a Sherman tank, or
yeah.
that's so fake, but you make it look verisimilitude, I think is the word.
Verisimilitude. I like that word a lot.
Yeah. Okay, but
What I
that's
noticed about Sergeant Rock
hmm
is that I think you'll get a greater level of accuracy in writing and artistry if Robert Conagher is writing or Joe
hmm
Kubert is doing the art, because I think they were very into being as accurate as possible.
hmm
Not to say that other people who worked on that book weren't, but those guys I think they made it an extra special effort.
hmm
So, moving on, we've got the Brave and the Bold number 151. It's
Yeah.
Batman and the Flash. Bob Haney wrote it. Jim Aparo on art again. This is Disco of Death.
Okay.
Man.
A word about disco. Now it's kind of kooky and funny, and I'll listen to a disco song and get all, oh, I don't know the word,
Sentimental?
sentimental and all that
Nostalgic?
stuff. But during that, it was hell on earth. You could not escape disco. It was everywhere,
Obviously,
and
even in a comic book.
yeah, yeah, and it was really awful. Anything. I wonder if I would have been so tired of the Beatles when I was in 1965. But I don't think music was ubiquitous. When I was growing up, music didn't play everywhere. There, you heard rock and roll on the radio or your record player or an 8 track. You did not hear it when you walked to the mall. You didn't hear rock and roll anytime. Now you go to Fred Meyer's supermarket and you will hear the Sex Pistols.
You won't hear the Sex Pistols.
I have.
You're kidding.
I am not lying.
What song? What Sex Pistols song can you play over the PA?
I think it was Anarchy in the UK, or it was one.
God Save the Queen, probably.
I
That
think
one's.
it was. Yeah.
It had to be, because that's.
Yeah, I swear.
Okay.
That
Wow.
was later on the night, but I think that rock and roll became music, has become music. It's become so ubiquitous.
Oh, yeah.
But disco, it came really big. Every hotel had a disco bar. They had disco dance studios in airports and everywhere, and
So
there's
this was the beginning of that shift from like, yeah, you heard it in your home or your
mhm,
car or,
right,
wherever,
yeah,
but now it's
yeah,
at the airport,
mhm,
it's in the store, it's
you
in the
cannot
mall.
escape it now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's always I find it an interesting subject to note when these cultural shifts take
Mhm.
place and when they happen.
Yeah, it started with the death of Elvis,
Yeah?
really, because CBS News had it talked about it in the last half hour of towards the end of the news program. ABC had it on the very top story,
Yeah.
and people was watching CBS and was, oh, nothing about Elvis. They went to ABC,
Sure.
and that said, oh, popular rock and roll is important, and became really mainstream.
Yeah.
So that's but so it's disco themed comic books are stupid, and this one's not good. But we do have the Flash and his wife, and they're having a spat.
Yeah, and this is kind of frequent. Iris is always mad that because, Barry is off being the Flash and not spending time with her. It's funny. At this time, she's very similar to the Atom's girlfriend or wife, Jean Loring. Um, only they're almost interchangeable.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference being, of course, that Jean Loring later went insane and killed Sue Dibney, the elongated man's wife.
Oh, okay. I've not read that. That's
Oh,
interesting. Okay.
well, I won't tell you what story it is. I'll just lend you the comic at some
Okay,
point,
and
and
then
you
shop
won't know,
for
and
it.
you'll still be surprised.
Yeah, because I won't remember what you told me.
Exactly.
I just noticed they use one of these new Polaroid land cameras that take he takes a picture with this
The Flash does.
the Polaroid, yeah,
Yeah.
and there's flashes on the camera. No, but it takes a picture and it develops in front of your eyes, and
Yeah.
that's it was a big deal then.
Yeah.
Um,
Even as a kid in
let's
the
see.
'80s, I was like, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah,
They weren't the greatest photographs, but you got them right then.
yeah.
But yeah, okay. So Bruce Wayne and girl he's dating this week, um, they invite the Allens to Gotham City, and they
Mm-hmm.
decide to go to a disco.
Mm-hmm.
And girls are disappearing at the
Yeah.
disco.
And a really kind of cool disco. They have the Joker, someone dressed like the Joker and the Family Opera, and Miss Jaguar and
Yeah, people.
Pirates. And I never saw this. Everyone was just dressed like, oh, Tony from Saturday Night Fever. So,
Yeah,
so then whatever. But
yeah.
um, yeah, so yeah,
So
Batman goes to this girl's house, and I don't know how he goes to this girl's house, but he goes to this girl's house. Oh, she is losing her life. So they figure out that the Phantom of the Disco
yeah,
is in trouble, is doing this. So Flash goes back in time to the 30s
with
when
the
he.
cosmic treadmill.
Oh
He
yeah.
uses the cosmic treadmill to break, well, not to break the time barrier, but Superman doesn't need the treadmill to break the
Hmm.
time barrier, and he can
Yeah.
go to. He's pretty precise with it. The treadmill will assists him to break the time barrier, the Flash, but it allows him the precision to go to the specific time that he wants.
Right.
Because I've read stories where the early on where the Flash can break the time barrier without it, but the precision's
Ah.
not there.
Okay, that's interesting.
So,
Oh.
but Superman, because he's Superman, can do it without
Mhm.
anything. Yeah. So,
Yeah, and so Mrs. Allen helps with, and because she's made it to look like this young lady who the Phantom is in love with and died at
yeah.
a dance marathon. Which was interesting talking about dance marathons. I think that there's a movie, They Shoot Horses, Don't They, with Jane Fonda about dance marathons.
That's an interesting title for a movie about dance marathons.
Yeah, it was the 70s.
Okay.
Okay. But I don't know, they solved the problem. But I don't, I'm not gonna go into that. But
This is not a great story. It's like,
no.
oh,
But then Mrs. Allen, they set up this battle between um, Barry and his wife helps out, and then there's nothing else. There's no because she doesn't like him superheroing all the time,
yeah.
and So she helps him out, but they don't mention that. There's
Yeah.
no, remember, there's no. Oh, well, I'm glad I helped you this time, honey. That was really
Yeah.
fun. But no, it's just nothing.
And
Uh,
it's funny because in the elongated man stories, Sue is often very much a big part of the adventure.
yeah.
She's there's never a story where she's not in it.
Hmm.
Um, and maybe she'll go off and be doing shopping while Ralph solves the
Hmm.
mystery. But she's kind of always there as the end cap of the story, like, oh, that was fun. Oh, when are we going to go on a
Hmm.
real vacation? But yeah, so,
Okay.
but yeah. Um,
Okay.
so our next couple of books that we've got to talk about, I was surprised that you had no knowledge of this prior knowledge of this series.
No.
Devil Dinosaur numbers 1 and 2 we read this week,
It's fascinating.
written and drawn by Jack Kirby,
Yeah,
and it's
and invented
awesome.
by Jack Kirby and by the eternal 8-year-old in Jack Kirby. Because it's really, if I was the 8-year-old or 10 or 12-year-old Jeff, would have loved this. The 52-year-old Jeff's saying, that's a little much. But
The
and
plot's kind of thin. It's like, okay, big red dinosaur. It's like
I, I
Clifford the Big Red
I think
Dinosaur.
it is written for a younger crowd.
The plot's pretty simple but awesome
Hmm.
because I mean the art's just great. Jack Kirby drawing dinosaurs fighting, you know,
Dinosaurs and cavemen, what can and with the volcano. There are in this one page
it's a two-page
spread.
splash.
There's one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, at least 8 dinosaurs within a half acre. Nine, and I'm sure I'm missing
Do you
some
see
more.
this little one here?
Yeah,
Okay.
so 9 dinosaurs just all around.
In one panel,
Yeah.
basically.
Oh, okay. The story is that this.
Moon Boy.
Oh God, how do I explain it?
There's two races of cavemen. The
The
what is
good
it?
guys and the bad guys.
Yeah, there's the small folk who are Moon Boy's people,
Hmm.
and the killer folk who are bigger, mean cavemen.
Yeah, that's what should I think? So the killer folk kill a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and they're killing the little ones, and they're gonna eat them. And
They decide to kill one with fire,
hmm
and they burn this one, and it turns red, and it escapes,
and
and
becomes a friend of Moon Boy.
yeah, he kind of like, hey, let's soak in some water, and we'll help you out. And then they kind of save each other's lives from some other dinosaurs, and they become brothers.
Yeah, I was watching something on dinosaurs on TV, and they were talking to paleontologists. And paleontologists, I envy one person, Fred Flintstone, because he has a pet dinosaur, and that's kind of cool. And it's a great idea. Turning the dinosaur red was, I don't know, it's just too much. I don't know. It's just you're in flames and you turn red. That's usually a temporary condition. I don't know.
Well,
It just, I don't.
it's a comic book.
Yeah, no, but
Plus, it will distinguish Devil from other dinosaurs.
that's the reason they did it. But oh,
But he looks so cool, Jeff.
yeah, he's well drawn. I don't know. I don't like the red color, and I
Okay.
don't like Moon Boy. He looks.
A lot of people don't like Moon Boy, but it's got to have somebody who talks. That's
Hmm.
why. But Moon Boy and Devil, they go back to the small folks' village, and they're scared of Devil, and so Moon Boy and Devil become outcasts.
Hmm.
But Devil ends up ruling the valley that they're in anyway, because he's awesome.
Hmm.
And they're battling the killer folk,
Yeah.
and the killer folk decide to have a new leader, so they kill the old one. And this new guy, Seven Scars, has got a plan to get rid of Devil that we
Hmm.
will find out about in the next issue.
Yeah. And we can go with that. Yeah, it's super well drawn. Here as an ad alert, we have super sea monkeys, and there's proof that they're real. And they show a little diagram what a sea monkey looks like.
Yeah.
And they're not building a city. I wonder if they got a lot of complaints.
What, that they weren't really.
Yeah, they weren't building cities and driving to work.
But these things are like, they're just mail away like an ad in a comic book. They're like here today, gone tomorrow. A lot of these
But this
companies.
is
Very fly by
this
night.
lasted. I mean, this lasted. there's been at least two TV shows in the last 10 years that mentioned them: South Park and Simpsons.
The sea monkeys, it's a piece of Americana or whatever you
Mm-hmm.
want to call it that have stuck in a consciousness, just like X-ray specs. But I think a
Mm-hmm.
lot of them is, oh well, it's like what a kid sent in $1, and it wasn't what he met his expectations. If
Yeah.
if this was something that was marketed towards adults, you might have some problems. But like, oh well, you shouldn't have wasted your money. That's what your parents tell you, and that's the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is one of those things you do to become a man. When you stuff you read, can people can lie to you. Grown-ups can lie to you, and this is
It's where
grown-ups
you
lying to you, and this is where you find out.
Yeah, this is
And
kind of where one of those life-changing things,
mm,
and I can dig what you're talking about.
yeah.
But in the second issue of Devil Dinosaur, the killer folk set a trap for Devil.
And
They
another trap, and another trap. and
well
uh,
to they want to impale him on these spikes, but it
mhm.
doesn't work.
Yeah.
He tricks them and gets away and fights a
Yeah.
Dimetrodon or
Yeah, the
something.
killer folk have a couple of decent plans, but oh man,
They want to lure Devil in to fight this giant spider.
yeah, and he's are these dragonflies attacking them or no? They just they just
There's just
every
big
page has this a wondrous thing, and there's almost too much, and
Man, that's what I hate in comics, the sense of wonder and fun.
my God, is but too much wonder it gets old or something, and I'm not sure what I can touch and point to, saying this doesn't work. But
Well,
it's
the
really
series
good.
only lasted 9 issues, so
And that's
somebody else
probably
must have felt that. But
yeah,
also, how much can you really write about a caveman and a dinosaur?
I could do better.
Yeah,
I
but
think,
Devil
but
doesn't
I
end
could
up.
not draw better. I don't think anybody could draw as well as Jack Kirby.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
love these, by the way.
okay,
Um,
hey,
Devil doesn't end up having to fight the giant spider, but their plan backfires on the killer folk, and they get eaten by the giant spider, and they get burned up by fire, and
hmm
they just
yeah,
get all kinds of messed up,
hmm
which is kind of what they deserve because they're jerks. Twinkie
yeah,
alert.
yeah. Gudrun the
The
Golden.
golden. It's
Uh,
Thor.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
a Thor Twinkie ad.
Oh my God, Thor is eating a Twinkie.
Is he?
Yes, he is. Is that our first time we've seen someone? He
Yes.
he has a Twinkie and has a bite out of it.
Wow, the
Okay.
first time that we have spotted a Twinkie ad where the hero actually eats Twinkies.
hmm
So,
But Thor, he's a god. It's not gonna hurt him.
yeah, maybe that's the the,
Yeah.
the, the excuse.
But that is absolutely gorgeous. It's probably the most beautifully drawn comic we've ever looked at.
So these 2 issues of Devil Dinosaur.
Yeah.
So you love the art, the story does nothing for
Yeah.
you. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
And it's almost too. I mean, you can't swing a velociraptor without hitting another dinosaur. It's almost just too much. There's too much stuff going
I
on.
think here's the thing. I think maybe the panels are getting full up with stuff. First of all, Jack Kirby's never really sparse with what he does.
Right.
But I think maybe you're filling up the panels with all this stuff to compensate for the fact that the plot's pretty thin. There's not a lot to do with it. But it's still it's a fun book.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
so we've got a pair of, it's our first time on the show we've talked about anything from Gold Key Comics, and we've got 2 issues of Dr. Solar, the Man of the Atom. And the first one we've got is Dr. Solar number 8. The story is The Thought Controller, written by Paul S. Newman and art by Frank Boll.
Yeah. It's a leisurely paced comic, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, it just takes its time. It's not too rushed. And
It feels like television. It feels
yeah.
like this is a 60s television show that I'm reading rather than watching.
And
And I mean
yeah,
that as a compliment.
right. It's definitely different. And I just thought of this. What happened? What was going on? I says, oh yeah, it just
It's the atomic age.
yeah. And people, oh, it's slow paced means boring, but no. I mean,
It's not even slow paced. It's just well
yeah,
paced.
right.
It,
Very
the-
good.
the-
Because you can have action. Too much action is boring, and too much.
well, yeah, because then there's no story.
Right.
You have to have a balance.
Yeah.
In every Marvel comic you will have the opening stuff or the whatever, but you're going to have that fight in the middle somewhere. And that's just the formula that Marvel has. But this this is Gold Key, and it's a different company, and they got a different approach.
Okay.
Um,
Let's see. Yeah, we have Dr. Solar. He uses nuclear power
yeah,
in energy. And I thought, well, his name is Dr. Solar, but then that's right. The sun is nothing more than a huge fusion reactor.
yeah.
So I guess it's accurate. Um,
But
well,
Dr.
there's
Solar is his civilian name. His
yeah.
superhero, he is the Man of the Atom. That's his superhero name,
Hmm.
which is weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a little long, but
That's like Nature Boy Ric Flair. I mean, Ric Flair is a decent name for a wrestler, but he's Nature Boy too. So
yeah,
it's
it's
just,
like pick one guy.
eh,
But yeah, you lose. Everyone other than the people who know Dr. Solar is the Man of the Atom. You know, his
mhm,
friends Gale and the Professor so and so. Everyone refers to him as the Man of the Atom. They don't call him Dr. Solar.
mhm,
Um, but yeah, he's got all these nuclear powers, and he's solving, like natural disasters and
mhm,
stuff. And it's really beautifully drawn. When he's using his powers, his face turns green.
yeah. Yeah. I don't know what that's about.
Just so you know, it's
But
radioactive and stuff.
he has a super villain against him, Neuro. He's bald, and I'm offended by that.
Yeah, Neuro is the lead villain in this series.
As is yours truly. I'm bald too. So
Oh,
now the truth comes out. Yeah, Neuro, and he's pretty clever, but he's very Luther-esque. But you don't see his face. He smokes a cigar, so.
yeah, he's kind of like a Lex Luthor,
But he
a
has
cigar chomping Lex Luthor.
But he has a pretty cool plan. Like, all these give Solar, the man, the atom, all these hallucinations. He's flying around and causing trouble, and he's trying. He thinks he's fighting something, but he's not.
Yeah,
He's fighting nothing. It's
but
fantastic.
and it's to use up his power because his power is finite and he needs to recharge it periodically. So it's
Right.
Neuro wants him to use up his power so that he can capture him and
Pretty
whatever.
clever idea. But he got the two wimpy as minions. His henchmen are awful.
Yeah, Neuro doesn't have good henchmen. Later, he gets this cool like cyborg guy that's
No,
his emissary, but
these are below. These are Star Wars prequel henchmen. The
oh,
Roger robots. They are awful. Oh, maybe I ought to run away. It's just really. Oh man.
so Neuro had a good plan, but is not executed well because
Right.
he doesn't have good underlings.
Hmm.
It's hard to find good henchmen. There's an interstitial kind of story in this. In the
Hmm.
middle of the story, they'll have a segue, and this is the theme in every issue of The Man of the Atom. You'll get a science kind of bit with Dr. Harbinger. And
Hmm.
this story is magic fuel, and Dr. Harbinger is talking about renewable energy.
All right, it's pretty cool, and he's kind of a goofball, but
Yeah,
but I like him. Well drawn
yeah.
indeed, and yeah, pretty good, decent science stuff. So.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a cool element that they've got going in there. It definitely makes it stand
Hmm.
out, and that's part of the thing that made me feel like I was watching a kids show from the '60s.
Hmm.
You know, like we get the mid-issue cliffhanger, and then here's this other part we're learning something, and then we go back to the main
Yeah.
story.
Hmm.
So, but the
So.
Man of the Atom, where are we at here?
Oh,
He's weakened.
he's rescued by his girlfriend and a bunch of other guys because
Yeah.
the henchmen, and they give up. And but then he figures out there's this machine, and then this is a surprise. Okay, you got a machine that creates hallucinations. For me, that'd be enough. But no, this machine has these claws and tentacles and can really fight well, and
Yeah,
almost beats up the Man in the Atom. But
yeah, it's a cool fight.
yeah, machine can be a little bit cooler, but yeah,
It's cool in its clunkiness. You know what I mean?
yeah, but it's
Because
pretty.
if it was Superman fighting a robot, it'd be a big boxy robot. That looks pretty cool.
Oh, okay, all right.
So the Man of the Atom beats the robot, and Neuro is defeated. So,
Yeah.
but we have another issue of Dr. Solar, and it's number 25. The story is The Lost Dimension, written by Dick Wood, and the art is by Ernie Colon. Ernie Colon. This is early in his career. Ernie Colon, who he did Arak, Son of Thunder,
Oh,
and among other things.
yeah.
He did Amethyst, Princess of Gem World.
Okay.
well, that was another big series of his in the
Yeah.
80s.
Hmm.
But this is him in the Silver Age, and I was really surprised and kind of like, oh,
Hmm.
well, that's cool. But
Yeah. Um. Okay. Really cool front splash. With
yeah,
these big dots, and they're going. He's being transported through time and space to another dimension.
yeah.
No, I hate doing
This is
that.
the mirror like of Star Trek.
Oh
This
yeah,
is that kind of story is being transposed into the
exactly.
world of
Hmm.
Dr. Solar, and it's very cool. That
Yeah, you're okay. You got me there because I just yeah, it's obvious. So, but I mean, it's not a ripoff, but it's just
it's that same kind of plot.
yeah, 68. Um,
They may very well be have been ripping off that Star Trek episode. It would have
or
aired by
Star
this time.
Trek the other way. Who knows? Pretty cool though. They test the machine by sending a can of beans, which sounds what?
There's
But
we should back up a little
oh,
bit. The scientists they're building a machine to transfer to teleport things.
teleport, yeah.
But it turns out it's sending the thing they test a can of beans and it sends it to this other dimension.
Hmm.
And it's a parallel, like a mirror world where just like
Um,
all the good guys
people.
are
Oh,
evil.
yeah.
The good guys are evil, and I guess maybe the bad guys
Mm,
aren't. I don't know.
yeah. Well, they send a can of beans because it has mineral, vegetable, and animal.
Because the
Isn't it?
can was made of metal, so
Yeah.
there's your mineral. The vegetable was the beans,
Beans.
and the pork fat in the
Yeah.
juice, which that's a bit of a stretch, but I was like, okay.
I don't know. I thought it was kind of clever. Okay,
Yeah.
someone's thinking. I don't know if it's scientifically sound, but it's pretty. I don't know. I like it. So they send this nerd first
Of
because
course.
we can't send Doctor Solar because he's too important, which is interesting.
I thought the
Or
nerd did it against, like, he was
right,
told not to. And then
well,
Dr. Solar has to go get him.
exactly. So, but they didn't want to Doctor Solar do it because or Man of the Atom.
Because he was too valuable. If he was
Mhm.
lost, like, then the commies will beat America.
Yeah.
Because this is Cold War,
Hmm.
so.
But we got another
Interstitial thing with Dr. Harbinger.
yeah. I like him better than Bill Nye.
Yeah.
And
This one is like what would happen, like the end of the world, basically, right?
yeah, the breathless world. And then
He's like, if we had wars and forest fires and insects and disease at the same time, then the world would end. Well,
yeah, it's kind of if you run out of if there is too much oxygen or not enough or yeah, okay, yeah, that's some really crazy creatures.
yeah. I
That
mean,
happen.
this one's a bit of a stretch to like say that, oh, for the environment to be spoiled, all these things had to happen.
Hmm.
But it allowed for some really cool visuals in
Yeah.
that segment. So I enjoy that.
Um, Gold Key Comics has readers page inventions and poorly drawn
Fan art.
fan art, but uh, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely like, oh, hey, here, kids, here's your drawing in here. One
Hmm.
thing that I do note that's kind of cool, it's still the drawing sucks, but is there's a Magnus robot fighter is
Hmm.
in one of these drawings, and uh, down the road we're gonna have some issues of Magnus to talk about.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, which is a really cool series. So
Yeah, it's. I want to read those back.
yeah,
Um, yeah, it's pretty cool. Nice, and interesting plot, and um,
yeah.
and
In this
they.
we do meet Neuro's kind of like lead hench guy now, the King Cybernoid, who was just a cyborg with a cool helmet.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: if you have new atomic power, a guy who's part robot isn't going to make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be nothing, you know,
Right. Hmm.
against the Man of the Atom. But it's still the guy looks cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, Man of the Atom is trapped in this other dimension.
And it ends on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, so wonder if he got out of it. Probably.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be something if he didn't? Wouldn't
Yeah,
that be
like if that
awesome?
was the end of the series.
Yeah.
Didn't
Something.
Mork and Mindy end like with them dying?
I don't know.
Okay. Like, because it does happen then.
Yeah. Man, that show was awful. Oh,
When I was a
man.
kid, I haven't seen it in 20, 25
Oh.
years, so
I don't know. It's maybe best not to go back, but I remember I watched that and it was painfully bad. And watched
But you don't
Welcome
like
Back, Kotter, and it was just
but you
pain
don't like
awful.
Robin Williams though.
No, I think he's very talented. I think he's great in Popeye, but his work after that, he's Robin Williams playing Robin Williams doing something, and
I don't think he was doing that in Dead Poets Society, and that's a great movie.
yeah, it was okay, but it was I've seen it before, and sort of, and it's not,
Okay.
and just okay.
Sorry.
Blah. Speaking of blah, I don't know why I
Oh,
didn't like ElfQuest.
I really like this. This was my first exposure to ElfQuest. We've got ElfQuest number two, Journey to Sorrow's End. It's written and illustrated by Wendy Pinney, um, and I think this is really a lot of fun.
Nicely
It's a
drawn,
well
but I
done
really
series.
didn't like the characters. And there's the angry elf, and there's the other elf, and I don't know. It just
Wow.
it's just I'm not sure.
I
Maybe
figured
I'm
you would
not.
have. I figured you would have been all over this because we seem to really have a lot of fun with these fantasy, sword and sorcery books.
Uh, it's well drawn. I like the very last page with this elf village. And I remember seeing Elf. What's the name of this? Elf Quest. Advertised. Said, "Oh, that looks interesting," but this didn't do anything for me. I'm
Okay.
just reading it to get it over with. That's it.
Okay. Well,
Um.
we can gloss over this issue
Oh
if you
no no
want.
no!
That's fine.
I really don't have much to say, and I'm not sure why I don't like it. It just I don't.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, if you like the art, you just this story didn't appeal to you very much. I
Oh,
mean,
the art's fine. It's just the characters and like and
I
one of the
read this
problems is
twice, and I think I enjoyed it more on the second reading.
maybe I should do that.
But
It says
I mean, I'd like to read more to get kind of
mhm,
more into their story and this world. But I mean, it's definitely different than anything that I've read
yeah
previously, which is a
yeah
strength.
hmm
It's a little cartoonish, but
hmm
not satirical.
yeah
The villainous trolls are kind of they seem like Smurf villains,
yes they do and
but
yeah I don't know. There's
mine.
this famous story of Tolkien when he's reading Lord of the Rings to his friends
Hmm.
and one of the guys is listening, and then Tolkien mentions somebody, and the guy says, "Not another effing elf." And he used the word effing though, but
Yeah,
that's kind of I don't know. I thought of that when I was reading it. I don't know why I didn't like these elves.
I
I
I don't know
I
either.
don't know either. So
I thought they were cool. I was just like, I think another issue where it's not like,
maybe if I read the first one and
yeah, I
but
didn't feel lost. I feel like I was up to speed with what was happening
yeah, I
because this is
figured
only the
that,
second
but
issue.
the characters, or was this the grumpy one, or just the, I don't
Yeah, okay.
know. Okay,
Uh,
but I don't know. Do you have anything else to say about it?
Not a lot. I just like I'd like to check out ElfQuest a little more.
I'll give it another chance.
Sure.
Maybe I wasn't in the mood. Who
And
knows?
that can happen too. I mean, it's kind of an offbeat. Most of the time we do superheroes.
Yeah,
And I think we'll be more and more incorporating, non-superhero stuff. I think lends
yeah.
something to the
Maybe,
show
maybe I
to
wasn't in the mood
have
for
that variety.
whimsy. I don't
I
know.
didn't find it whimsical though. I mean, Captain Marvel is whimsical.
Yeah, I guess.
The spirit is whimsical.
All right,
So,
point taken.
but anyway, whatever it is, it's okay. It's forgivable. You
Hmm
don't have to like anything. So, um, we're starting our move into some Fantastic Four issues. In this episode, we've just got one, but it's Fantastic Four number 64. It's the Century Sinister, written by Stan Lee, beautifully illustrated by Jack King Kirby.
I would love to have a machine that looked like a Kirby machine in real life.
Just the Kirby machine, and not the vacuum.
Right. Oh man, what a ripoff those are. You know that, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know that they're ripoff. I know that they're really excellent vacuums.
Yes. Way, way, way overpriced.
Yeah.
I
I mean, I
mean,
want to
about
pay
10 times.
$1,500 minimum for a vacuum. Forget
And
it.
it's very high pressured, so
Oh yeah, I've
so,
gone through the Kirby sales speech twice, and
mm.
it's just horrible to sit through. And it's by friends who were like they got suckered into trying to sell those things,
And I know some people too, and that's you just cry. But
and they have to call their boss in the middle of the thing. Like I just did this part. Ugh, it's awful.
yeah.
Like, it's a
Oh,
quality machine, but I can't sit through an hour presentation.
right.
You almost buy the thing to get them to shut up and go away.
Exactly. Yeah, but a Kirby machine, which is it's a superly well drawn, intricate machines. I would love to have something like that in my house. I don't know what it would do.
Anything. Are you kidding me?
I
It
would
does
buy
it
a
all.
Kirby vacuum if they looked like a Kirby machine. So, I'd spend
Nice.
the $1,500. That's what they should do. But it's just awesomely drawn, and I don't know.
Yeah, Reed and Ben are working on some machine. I think it's to close up a portal to the negative zone or something.
Yeah, it's a power core.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah, I need one of those. So.
Yeah. And Sue is feeling neglected, and she's like, "We are going on vacation." And so they do.
Yeah, and like every other superhero vacation, they get into trouble. These two guys are,
These archaeologist guys, or one's an archaeologist and one's just a guy with him.
yeah,
They go to
they're
this
out
island
looking for a lost civilization, or I
of
think
the
they're looking
Kree.
for the Krees. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
and I
that's what
think
they're
this
looking
might
for.
be the introduction of the Kree in the Marvel Universe. I could be mistaken, but
Hmm,
it's a very early story. I'll say that, referencing them.
yeah, interesting name. I'm not sure I like it or not,
It
but
it doesn't quite hit the ear like I would like, but
mm,
it reads well. In
yeah,
your head, it sounds really good.
okay.
But yeah, they go to
It's
this island, and the archaeologists, they're looking for this lost
mm,
Kree, base or whatever, and they uncover the Kree sentry.
mm-hmm,
And boy, is it,
mad.
yeah, it's ready to kill the crap out of anybody who shows up. And it's a spaceport, and it's been abandoned for centuries. And these guys get trapped in like this luminescent cube.
It's a shimmering mass of colloidal atoms,
Oh,
or
right.
whatever that is. But
What it is awesome.
yeah.
Um,
Um,
and so the Fantastic Four, they happen to pick that island at random. Ben
mhm.
puts on a blindfold and throws a dart at the world map, and it's like, we're going here.
Yeah.
And they happen to go there,
What are
and
the odds?
Johnny decides to stay behind and hang out with Crystal of the Inhumans, who's his girlfriend at the
Hmm.
time. And so Reed and Sue and Ben, they all go to this island, and they are immediately met with the Kree Sentry, who must destroy them because that is what he's programmed to do.
Yeah,
And it's just battle, battle, battle.
that's a cool battle. The Kree Sentry looks really bad, but looks sad and noble at the same time. It's
Yeah,
kind of cool. I mean,
because it's
he's
part
just
of
doing
this.
the job.
Yeah, it has no malice, but boy, is it a formidable adversary.
Hmm.
For the Fantastic Four. It's a nice, just kind of a one-off, one and done
Hmm.
issue. Oh yeah, I forgot Triton of the Inhumans was hanging out with the at the
Yeah,
Fantastic
and
Four.
Lockjaw, which
Yeah, I
is an
love
interesting.
Lockjaw. He's this big bulldog, if you don't know,
He
really
can
big.
travel through space and time.
Yeah, he's like having a.
Actually, space. Does he travel through time as well? I can't
I
remember.
don't know if he travels time, but he can take you anywhere in space.
Hmm.
Like it could be another world, it could be anywhere on Earth. He's good with that. But Lockjaw is great.
Sue calls back to Johnny and
At the
they're in
Baxter
trouble.
Building.
And she usually has this expression of worried horror on her face.
Yeah.
Um,
When I look
that's
at
nice.
Sue Storm, I think like, man, this is just like Jack Kirby drawn romance comics. That's how he draws Sue.
Mhm.
I just waiting for the tears of like, oh, Reed,
Yeah.
but
Really cool, great battle.
oh yeah,
Great foe, and it's very close.
so
And
Lockjaw teleports Johnny and Crystal to that island, and yeah, they rescue the archaeologist or whatever, and they beat the Sentry just barely, and the base, the Kree base explodes, and they teleport away.
yeah, and the Sentry waits in his universe of Kirby dots. And
Yeah.
it's just cool.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's just a really fun issue.
They rescue the professor and his
Assistant.
assistant. Yeah,
Yeah.
not mate, for crying out loud. Maybe a whole different comic book.
Oh boy, let's just not even go there.
Yeah.
So,
Alright, but that was a good one.
yeah.
I don't know if I ever read a bad Fantastic Four.
Well, I hope that day doesn't happen. I mean, I have, but that's much later, I
Mm,
think the first 30 years of Fantastic Four is just pretty much all good.
yeah. There
Good
was a
to
lot
great.
yeah, man, I don't even know who the Fantastic Four is right now. I don't know who the members are.
Oh, right now it's the original four.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So.
But yes, many other people have been in the Fantastic Four.
Hmm.
And in fact, in issues that we'll have coming up, we'll have Crystal replacing Sue or Medusa
Hmm.
replacing Sue. Uh, you
I
know,
get those mixed up. So what do they do? Alright.
wait, Crystal and Medusa?
Medusa has a
The
hair,
living
and
hair, and
I
Crystal
think.
has like elemental powers.
Okay. Yeah.
You
Oh,
know, I
I'm
remember in
just
the
saying.
'80s that the She-Hulk replaced the Thing for a time, and that was actually really cool.
She-Hulk has a good sense of humor. I always like She-Hulk.
Yeah.
The green monster lady lawyer. Cool.
Here's the thing. Here's a story that I wish would be happening in comics. A She-Hulk Daredevil team up. And
Yeah.
here's my idea for the arc.
Uh-huh.
Okay, they're both working on a case. She's the prosecutor, he's the defense,
Hmm.
and they're both in their civilian and superhero identities working on the case, kind of at odds with each other but
Hmm.
teaming up. And I just think that would be a really great story. I don't know what
Yeah.
that's a good
Hmm.
plot.
And
Let me
make
be the
that.
Julie Schwartz and just here's your plot. And
Yeah.
actually, that's more of a Mort Weisinger thing.
Right. And this is copyrighted. So if you use it, we're going to sue.
Yeah, right. Yeah, our idea for somebody else's characters they own.
Yeah.
But I don't care if somebody takes that ball and pitches that. I would love for that to happen.
Yeah.
Mark Wade's writing it now. I wish, come on, Mark Wade, do that story.
We want an autographed copy, though. Please. No,
Um,
not anyone's going to. I think that's a great idea, though. I think
Yeah.
that'd be. Yeah, and.
It's like they're both lawyers in New York City. Why are they not coming across each other?
Yeah, and I like a lawyer to be on hand and to make sure they don't do something stupid and unlawful. Because I don't know anything about law, but I think. Okay. Well, that is a cool cover, man.
So next we've got The Flash, number 164, and the lead story is Flash, Vandal of Central City, written by John Broome and art by Carmine Infantino and Joe Giella.
Ah, well, Flash is going around and he's causing all this trouble. And we,
His
what's
powers
going?
are like causing damage
Yeah,
around the city, and
and he
he's
doesn't know why, and so he gets arrested, and well, doesn't he? And but the thing is, there's this guy, the Pied Piper,
yeah, who's one of his main
which
villains.
is you'd expect to be in more villainous, more because what an awful villain the Pied Piper in tradition was.
Well,
Played a tune and got the kids out of a.
remember, but the people, the towns that in the original story, the Pied Piper,
Hmm.
he said, "Hey, I'll get rid of all the rats or the snakes or whatever." Oh, great, cool. And you pay me this after done. Oh, you got it. And he took care of it, and then they didn't refuse to pay him, and so he led the children off into like Mordor
Yeah,
or
but
something.
that's it's a little bit over the top.
Isn't it a
couldn't
Brothers
just
Grimm
took
story?
couldn't just took one kid for a little bit or something. That was
Doesn't really
silly.
have the same impact of, hey,
Right.
don't cheat
It's
people.
all, yeah,
You know,
it is a sad story though. So, but
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
it didn't really happen, so it's okay.
I don't know.
But the villain, the Pied Piper, yeah, he's the one who's causing the Flash's powers to go haywire. And his whole thing is he get the Flash locked up, and then he's going to go on a crime spree and have mob guys take all the money or whatever.
Yeah, it's and the mob guys. This is irony. The mob guys don't pay the Pied Piper, so
Yeah.
they get back at the mob guys. And pretty, yeah, the Pied Piper.
It's an interesting concept. He uses like sonic stuff to affect people,
Mhm.
or he drives all the townspeople out, and then the crime guys come in and steal everything, and he's supposed to get like 50% or 75%, and they're like, we're just gonna give you 25, Piper.
Mhm.
So I think he gets back at those guys,
Yeah.
and the Flash figures out what has happened, of course, and vibrates through the walls of jail, and goes and kicks
And-
butt.
And Flashman, yeah. So he kicks. Okay, Flashman.
Flash.
The Flash beats up everybody, and then and he catches the Pied Piper monologue and goes behind him and smacks him on the back of the head. And The end. Happy. Oh man.
I really like Carmine Infantino is the classic Flash artist, and he's really in top form here. And this is shortly before Barry Allen and Iris West become Mr. and Mrs. Barry Allen.
And there is a advertisement or
Uh,
a
uh,
invitation.
yes, it's coming in like the next or two issues from now in of the Flash. So
Hmm.
we don't have that one to discuss, but the backup story is the Kid Flash in what is it? The Boy Who Lost Touch with the World. Um, Same creative team. John Broome wrote it. Carmine Infantino and Joe Giella on art.
Yeah, not bad. The kid vibrates at a weird tension or at a weird frequency and becomes invisible and
Oh, Kid Flash's friend.
yeah.
But
Hmm.
yeah, they're like out doing botany stuff. They're checking out. They find the mandrake root and stuff, which
Yeah.
is pretty cool.
And yeah. No, ginseng.
Oh, excuse me.
A wild ginseng. Supposedly it's rare. I did not know this. So
Beats
I
me.
like ginseng though. Uh, it's pretty. Yeah.
I can't remember why the kid becomes invisible or intangible or
Oh,
something.
his father is a scientist, and he has his own lab at home, and you know, it happens every day.
Of course.
Wouldn't it be great if it did? Be a different world.
Yeah.
The comic book world.
It'd be a great world to live in, honestly. A Silver Age comic book world
Yeah,
would
yeah,
be
yeah.
great.
I would like the Joker to be playing jokes instead of killing people horribly.
Of course, in the
So,
Golden Age, he was killing people horribly.
yeah, so
Pre-code, the
Mhm.
Joker was killing people horribly. So,
yeah, but it's cool, kind of cool. Um, Young Flash or
Kid Flash.
Kid Flash. Goodness, Flashman is one of my favorite.
The Flash?
Flashman.
Oh, that book.
Yeah, it is one of my favorite. So I'm keep saying Flashman. So
Okay, just remember, Flashman doesn't have super speed, and the Flash does.
oh, if he's in trouble, he has super speed.
Okay.
That's kind of cool. Gangsters find out that this kid knows Kid Flash, so they kidnap him, and he's talking to the alter ego of Kid Flash.
Oh,
and,
it's Wally West.
Wally West.
Because he later, after the Crisis on Infinite Earths, he would take up the mantle of the Flash.
So
Remember?
yeah. So Kid Flash comes in super speed, the fastest he's ever done, and then takes care of the gangster, and then rushes back, and he's still on the phone. So, well, and the
Oh, because the kid wants to protect his identity, his
well,
own secret identity.
yeah, the kid thinks that Wally West is the Kid Flash, but then it's he's still on the phone. It can't be.
Yeah,
Not thinking about super speed.
yeah, or not having a full grasp of how fast the Kid Flash is.
Mhm, yeah.
So it's pretty cool. I like that phone trick. That's you know,
Yeah.
DC Comics has got all these wonderful, things like that. I'm just thinking like I was thinking the other day about like all the rings that are involved in DC. You know, the Flash and Kid Flash, their costumes
yeah.
come out of the ring. The
Mhm.
Legion of Superheroes have the flight ring.
Mm-hmm.
The Green Lanterns have their rings. A lot of rings, and then everybody has a trophy collection from the past cases.
Yeah, even Batman, and he has the goofiest one of all.
Oh my gosh.
Man, the
Yeah.
big penny and the dinosaur
And the giant playing card. I mean, Batman stories
Yeah.
have the most giant insert blank object. Like,
And they keep it forever. And even when he's super serious, he's these goofball things.
yeah, it kind of
That's
takes away from the seriousness of Batman. But also, I'm like, man, Superman is so vain. Look at all this crap you have. He has the world's biggest garage full of crap. That's
Ah.
what the Fortress of Solitude is. He even has statues of himself and his friends in their secret identities next to,
Yeah.
their hero. It's like, why would you have that?
I would.
Oh, okay.
I am a superhuman being. I have all the time in the world because I can do everything at super speed. Why not make this? And
Okay.
show my friends. And it's
It's like Superman, the world's greatest blackmailer. See? Don't you ever forget. I know your secret identity.
yeah. But
I mean,
uh,
Superman would never do that, but
yeah.
unless he was affected by red kryptonite. Mm.
Yeah, indeed.
So,
Oh, got a cool ad for AMT's new Trophy Hall of Fame. HAUL instead of.
oh, because they're model cars.
Yeah, and had this cool cat. Hey, showing their 40 Ford coupe and the 34 Ford pickup truck, and they look really cool. And kind of in the our cars are so much better than those, but they look so much worse. And there's just such beautiful lines, but I don't. There's not a single car out there that looks as good as, say, this Ford Coupe, and there's
It is
nothing.
pretty cool looking. Yeah.
I'm talking about Maseratis maybe, but I
Yeah.
don't know. But it's kind of cool. Now, people used to make model cars. I don't know if they do. I didn't like. I like model tanks and planes and stuff like that
Sure.
because you could play with them and blow things up.
Yeah.
With car, what can you do with it?
Vroom, vroom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I did a little bit of modeling, mostly snap together models because I didn't
Oh,
want to glue and paint all that crap.
oh,
You
that
know?
was awful, 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 awful. But it's kind of. Okay. But this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And all right.
So we've got some Legion of Superheroes with Superboy number 222. The Legionnaire, or excuse me,
Yes.
this Legionnaire is Condemned, written by Cary Bates
Oh, yeah.
and art by Mike Grell. You know,
1976.
now I have to say, I think that I've unfairly judged Cary Bates because I think it's hard, based on his Superman stories, I've just condemned him. But honestly, Superman's pretty hard to write, especially in the 70s when you have all that stupid GBS crap going on.
Mhm.
But I see Cary Bates writing Flash stories or Legion stories, and they're good. And so this is my apology.
Okay.
So, and this story's pretty cool. Tyrock, who's a new Legionnaire, he's got this voice power. And anyway, yeah,
Oh man.
sucks. But
Yeah.
anyway, he's in irons because I guess he went on a rampage because the Legion didn't want to relocate to his hometown or something.
And this is the first time I've seen African Americans as a Legionnaire, and there are 3 African American
People in this
people.
splash
Yeah.
panel.
Although they could just be African, but they don't have to be from America. But
Well,
they
right.
are. So, but and of course he has chains on his outfit.
Yeah, I
Just
mean
some-
every black superhero it seems or half of them seem to have chains as a motif. Luke Cage has it.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
Tyrock has it. I mean, it's a common theme. I shouldn't say every, but I can think of several.
Yeah.
So
I think it's meant ironically.
yeah,
The chains I wear are the ones I put on myself.
man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He looks too old though. Everyone else is a kid, and he looks like he's 40 years old.
Well, I think he's not, but
Yeah,
okay,
he looks old.
okay.
That does not look like a teenager to me.
Well, I don't know if everyone in the Legion is a teenager at this point.
Oh, okay.
Because I mean, they have to grow, get older.
Yeah.
But
well, no, actually, they don't. This is the comics.
okay.
Pretty cool plot. Okay. There's a bomb that's going to blow up.
Metropolis, I think.
Yeah, Metropolis in the future. And so,
Tyrock.
yeah, I am having trouble with names today. Tyrock plays like he's fighting against the Legion, but it's all a trick. So he can go around causing trouble, but he's actually using his voice to locate the bomb.
That's right. And it's a pretty cool plot. And it's like, so in the whole thing, it's like he has to take the fall and be the bad guy, and then use his powers to do this, and and then they find the bomb, destroy it, and they catch the real bad guy.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and a lot of Legionnaires. I think I saw Princess Projectra in there, who I like, and also Ultra Boy, who is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is there's a lot of really cool Legionnaires and a lot of meh ones. There's so many you don't get to see them all in any given story.
Mm-hmm.
But what can you do? Can't have everything.
Indeed. Got a house ad.
Okay.
3 Musketeers, man. Visit the age of epic adventure. I would love to read that. And here we got Grodd,
Love Grodd.
the super gorilla, mightier even than Superman.
I don't know about that, but okay.
And live on Bard on the super team family. Kissinger has vanished. Is this the Secretary of State, Henry Kissinger?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Super Team Family was kind of at that point anyway was well, it was just kind of a double feature kind of book, a team up book, and have a lead feature and a backup
Mm-hmm.
feature. And I don't know how many issues it ran, but once it got about 8 issues in, it became a Challengers of the Unknown Doom Patrol
Mm-hmm.
book. And the lead story would be the Challengers, and the backup story would be a Doom Patrol reprint.
Okay.
Um, and we will get to read some of those, I think, at some point.
Um,
So there's another Legion story in this story.
yeah.
It's called Death of a Legend, and it's written by Jim Shooter, and art by Mike Nasser and Bob Layton.
A great font. I've never seen this before. It looks very computery, but it's not. So
It looks kind of Eastern, like almost like something you'd see in Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu.
perhaps that's
But I see,
computerized.
yeah, well, because it's the future, man.
Yeah.
So the Legionnaires travel to this other planet that's, I don't know, in the place of the U.S. or the Earth president because he's busy. But they go to meet this legendary hero, Questar, and also to kind of, I think, invite this planet to join the Galactic
Mm-hmm.
Alliance or something, whatever it is. Yeah, and
Yeah. They come there and they find out that he's a fake. He has
yes,
superpowers, but he's a super coward as well.
yeah.
And it's all.
And Questar was this legendary superhero known throughout the
Mm-hmm.
galaxy, kind of like Superman. But yeah, it turns out that it was kind of a big nothing. Like, yeah, he had these powers, but he was a scaredy cat. But he turns out to be a real hero in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Fighting alongside the Legionnaires, as they defeat this monster,
Mm-hmm.
and he's redeemed.
Right. Yeah. Interesting monster that comes once every 10 years.
Yeah,
This is weird. You only see a few of the people from this planet, but there's this. They talk weird, and then they're short, and he's got a really tall hat, and he's called Gladhander, which
yeah,
is um
eh,
yeah,
yeah.
but
But
nicely drawn though.
But I think it's Superboy and Saturn. I don't know if it's Saturn Girl or Lightning or Light Lass and Timberwolf go and they make Questar, and that's kind of
Yeah.
cool.
I'm not a huge Timberwolf fan. I don't know. He doesn't do anything for me,
He's
but
all right.
he's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's done a lot of stuff. He's
I mean, yeah, he is. And there are other Legionnaires that I like more. There's certainly ones that I like less.
Mm-hmm.
He's all right. He's kind of in the middle for me as far
Okay.
as Legionnaires go.
Mm-hmm.
Some of my favorite Legionnaires we haven't read tons of stories about, and at least so far. Like Ultra Boy, I really like.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got a pair of issues in sequence to talk about. Superboy 228 and 229. The first 228, the story is That a World Might Live, a Legionnaire Must Die, written by Paul Levitz and art by James Sherman and Jack Abel.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Paul Levitz is, during his run writing the book, is a high watermark for the Legion.
Mm-hmm.
People really love the Paul Levitz era, and this story is, I think, a strong indicator of just how good the book is. This guy, Daragon, is the governor of Australia or something,
Yeah.
and he's raising an army to, I think, conquer other parts of the world.
It's
or
like a
something.
big game of Risk. that's
Yeah.
that's the continent you want is Risk, and Risk is
Yeah.
Australia.
Now, the Legion have elected a new leader who is Wildfire, and boy, he's a real hothead,
Mm-hmm.
but he's a really interesting character. And what is it? The Earth president's like, hey, Legion, can you infiltrate Daragon's forces and try and prevent the next world war? Because we haven't had, we've been at peace for hundreds of years. So the Legion do that. They try and infiltrate Daragon's forces, and they do.
Yeah, and they capture these two secretaries, and
Who are, I think was it Dream Girl and Princess Projectra?
yeah, Shadowlass.
Oh, Shadowlass. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is theme of this two comics is there's five places where, well, five times you see girls knocked out.
Okay, I didn't. You count up these strange things. Okay,
Yeah. I did was notice this. Oh, okay. Well, it's fan service.
sure.
So it's
Yeah, I like. I'm pretty. I like the Legionnaire girls. They're really cool. They
mm,
all seem to be pretty cool. Um,
yeah, they're not complaining about doing stuff.
yeah, I think
uh,
Light Lass is probably the least interesting
mhm,
female Legionnaire.
yeah.
Um, the rest of them seem pretty cool.
Hmm.
Even Shadow Lass, who doesn't really do much.
Right.
But
Fair,
uh, but anyway, so Colossal Boy and Timberwolf are they infiltrate and they're part of Daragon's army
hmm.
secretly. So that's part of it.
Yeah, yeah. It's and they got to prove that the army's good, so they beat up their drill instructors. It's pretty cool. It's kind of ridiculous army outfits, red and blue. That's kind of went out with World War One with the French, but
Whatever.
yeah.
It's the future.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, let's see. In the Secretary of Spying and Chemical King.
Yeah.
He is feels bad. Everyone else has really cool superpowers, and his superpower is lame. He can manage chemical reactions.
Yeah, it's like, look, at least you're not Matter Eater, lad.
Yeah. He makes a bouncing boy joke.
Does he?
Yeah, he
Oh.
says, "Oh, there's a mention on it. Even bouncing boy is useful.
He is.
Even and made his contribution to the team. Even bouncing boy,
Well,
you
because
know.
Bouncing Boy distinguished himself in combat.
I mean, yeah, but even bouncing boy. That means
He's like, even in the
even.
Legion, he's kind of a joke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, but they're not very good spies, and they get caught easy. Kind of.
I like
And
how Chameleon Boy kind of like
Brandon is
rescues the girl.
crazy.
He turns into this space monster or
Hmm.
whatever and freaks Daragon out, which is cool.
Yeah, but they knock him out, and he knocked their two girls out.
Yeah.
So we see them lying down, and
Okay.
provocatively, I suppose.
Wow.
Uh, so there's this the home of the Dark Circle. That's where the
And the Dark Circle are the bad guys who are behind
Mhm.
Daragon's plot to take over the world or whatever.
Dragon's a great name, by the way.
It is a great name. I gotta say.
And
So Superboy's still talking to Chemical King and like, oh,
mhm,
you're great, Legionnaire, shut up. Um, and we go back to the battle against Daragon's forces. The Legionnaires, they've been exposed, and so it's
mhm.
fighting and trying to escape now.
Really, yeah, really bad. Yeah, it's pretty cool fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's really bad?
Ah, no, actually, I misspoke. I mean,
Oh, and anyway, they're trapped in Australia in like inside this dome or whatever. And
mhm,
Superboy and Chemical King show up, and Chemical King is the only one that can get through it so that they can escape, and Superboy can come in and kick some butt.
right,
But he gets
dies.
through this dome thing, but at the expense of his own life, and he sacrifices
Yeah,
himself for the other Legionnaires,
yeah.
which is awesome. Noble deaths are always good.
Mhm. Bad kung fu.
It is
That's
a
what I'm.
far better thing I do, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
From
saying
Wrath of Khan.
no from Shakespeare, right?
No, Charles Dickens.
Damn it. Well, close enough.
Tale of Two Cities.
But yeah, some bad kung fu by Timberwolf. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
I
that's
think
right.
later in the 70s they're trying to make him seem kind of like Wolverine.
And badly drawn. His very poorly. The dimensions are all wrong. No,
Hmm,
it's just
that's too
they
bad.
get the proportions correct everywhere else, but there it's kind of off. And it's off-putting.
Okay.
The last one, they come back and get their revenge.
Yes,
Pretty cool.
this Superboy number 228 is Hunt for a Hero Killer,
Yeah.
written again by Paul Levitz.
Again, nice font.
Yes.
Sorry.
Art by James Sherman and Jack Abel. No, it's fine. We're at the funeral for Chemical King, and we
Hmm.
get kind of a recap of what's happened last issue. And the Legion are like, nope, we got to go after this guy now. And so Wildfire picks, he rigs the pick at random, but it's he uses his powers to manipulate this thing, and he picks like pretty much the five very powerful Legionnaires to lead the mission to
And
go and
how
get.
did, yeah, that's really stupid to do it randomly. Why don't you get five people who are afraid of fire or something? It's
Because
such
they
a
all want to go on this mission.
right.
So it's random is fair. But then
Yeah.
Wildfire, he's like, no, 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 this is who's gonna go. And who goes on the mission? Is it gonna be him and I think Dawnstar and right?
Um.
You could, no, 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 go
uh,
forward. Forward.
oh, forward. I went backward.
Um,
Okay.
but he chooses. I think he takes Mon-El and Superboy and
Yeah.
himself. He says
Timberwolf, Dawnstar, and yours truly.
that's right. Yeah, I like Dawnstar. She's like this Native American chick with
Hmm.
wings. She's
Yeah.
cool. And you probably remember her. She was in Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah. That's been a long time.
Yeah.
But they come across this the home of the Dark Circle, and and lots of fighting.
Yeah.
Cool drones.
Yeah.
Man, man, the Legion ship is ugly. Man, it is. It's
I'm
awful.
sorry.
It is so poorly drawn, and there's one. Usually, everything here is really cool. The other bad guy ships look cool. The oh, it looks like the Enterprise made by um, your nephew's kindergarten class
Wow.
out of stuff they find in the kitchen. That's what it looks like. Very badly done.
Wow. I'm sorry that you're so disappointed by
Yeah.
that. I wasn't worried about it because there's only in like 2 panels.
Right.
But yeah, the
But have
Legion.
standards.
Man, I was more interested in the other parts of the
Yeah.
story. But
Oh,
yeah, the Legions are kicking the crap out of the Dark Circle.
yeah. And
Um,
they're huge cannons. It's really neat
it's a
done.
pretty epic fight, I have to
Hmm.
say. Um, all kinds of crap blowing up.
Yep. And turns out that what's going on? It's it's a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff.
Well, they find out that the Daragon is actually in this uh, amusement park.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. And so they fight him in this amusement park.
Oh,
It
and
was really Old Man Withers.
yeah,
No.
they was on a wild plant chase instead of a wild goose chase.
Oh, right, right.
Whatever a plant is.
It's probably some animal.
Uh huh. Made up animals. Yeah, be funny, but it was really it's it's for real. So,
Yeah.
um, but it's a really cool. I like to go to this park because there's
Yeah.
lots of cool looking dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Very
Like
DC.
space dinosaurs.
Mhm. Oh, got another knocked out girl here.
Yeah.
And they're fighting Daragon. He's knocked out into a chemical waste pit.
Does he die? I can't
No, he
remember.
does not.
But they bring him to justice.
Yeah.
And
But
Chemical King is avenged.
yeah, he's on Shanghala, hero who faced his death without fear, goes peacefully into the darkness at last.
I like Shanhala is that grave planet. And it's
Mhm.
kind of Shanhala, Valhalla,
Mhm.
and it's like where they bury all the.
Shangri-La.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's cool. I think that there was neat that they had this, world that was a grave.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so,
And Daragon was a coward at the very end.
as
After
villains ought to be.
Yeah.
You know.
After he knocked out that girl.
Yeah. I can't remember if that's Dream Girl or Saturn Girl in a new costume. I think it's Saturn Girl. But anyway,
Yeah, and they're happy that they didn't kill him. They wanted to kill him, but they didn't.
yeah, I think, and the Legionnaires are like, maybe we should change that law. Some of them.
Mm-hmm.
But then I don't know if they go into that at all ever again. So I don't think the Legion changed their bylaws against killing, but
No, they should.
yeah,
There should be
yeah, they should.
sacred things.
Yeah,
There's other comic books that kill like crazy. So.
exactly. I think I think we've talked about like, should superheroes use lethal force, and it's, I think the appropriate time for a superhero to kill is when all other options have been,
Hmm.
or they're up against a wall. It's like this person has to die, or we're not going to make it.
Hmm.
Those are the appropriate situations.
Hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
So
That's okay. That's a good place to stop for
yeah,
today.
I think so. This has been Comic Reflections. Thank you for listening.